All right, step number 6, this is about presenting the pricing. Tyler, tell us.
Yeah, so presenting the price is just kind of explaining to the customer where we came up with the cost of this estimate. So doesn't have to be anything like dragged out or too long. You're just kind of gonna read some of this information and let them know, where the price comes from. So in a situation like this, if I were presenting this to Ben, I would say something along the lines of, okay, Ben, we've went through the steps, we've discussed your inventory, we got your addresses. Based on that, I am going to send you 1 truck and 2 men, and I'm estimating this job to take 1 hour and 30 minutes. Just so you know, the time that we're estimating for is the time that it takes to load, transport, and unload. So in other words, we're gonna start that clock once we arrive at the first address. It's the time that's involved to load up there, drive to your destination, and then complete the delivery. Once we're finished unloading and we're done at the destination address, that's when the clock stops. That's the time you're paying for. As previously stated, we're estimating that time to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. Other than that, I do have my truck and equipment charge as well as my local fuel surcharge, which puts our estimated total to $357.50. And again, that's for 1 truck and 2 men if it took the full hour and 30 minutes that we're estimating for.
That's awesome. Now, when I got on board with MoveBeast initially, I learned a flow that I think it's kind of gone out in old fashioned, excuse me. And it was, before you even read this over, you would say, I'm sending over your estimate right now. We can take a look at it together. And then the customer could see everything, the breakdown, as I was reading it down. Do you do that, or do you do something different?
So personally, I present everything before I ever send it to the customer. And then if you kind of notice too, I didn't discuss an hourly rate. I didn't tell them what the truck and equipment charge is. I didn't tell them what the fuel surcharge is. I just kind of said I'm quoting this job for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it's going to cost $357.50 if that's how that all plays out. Because that's all the customer is really worried about, kind of like, is the price. Now, depending on how the conversation goes after that, maybe we can get into some of the more specifics, which we will do here shortly. But a lot of times, maybe that customer had $400 budgeted in their head. So when I said $357, he's like, okay, yeah, that's great, and then we book them.
I love that, because you're not being evasive about the total cost. It's just that by mentioning dollars less, like for every line item, you're not making the conversation as uncomfortable. Because eventually they need to know that they're gonna be booking, they're gonna be putting something on their credit card. But I think by keeping it more simple, it's helping me as a customer being ready to book.
Yeah, I try to not be like, hey, I'm charging you for this, I'm charging you for this, I'm charging you for this. I just kind of say, hey, I'm sending you a truck and 2 men, I'm estimating 1 hour and 30 minutes, plus I have like my standard charges. It puts our estimated total to $357. I just kind of keep it simple.
I love that.
But yeah, I mean, going back to like what you said about sending the estimate to the customer beforehand, maybe the customer had $200, like that was their number in their head. They're like, I'm looking to get a move done for $200. If I send them this quote first before I have a chance to present it, and they just see $357, their mind just focuses on $357. Yeah, and then their ears tune me out, and I'm trying to explain everything, and I've already lost them at that point.
Yeah, that's good. All right, let's get into the next step. That's called assuming the sale. Let's go.